Hi, I'm Steven, the calculator guy, founder of DeFi Dojo Discord, and today we're going to look at Revelo Intel, one of the most robust tools in DeFi, in my opinion. Now, if you are interested in signing up for Revelo Intel, do use the link in the description. You will get the quite substantial discount, 10% off on your subscription. So let's dive right in. What is Revelo? Why is it interesting? How do you use it? When you first sign up, the thing you'll see is like what's hot, what's new, what's interesting. These are a bunch of podcasts, periodicals, or long form content that the Revelo research team has compressed into bite-sized bits of reading. Now, they don't use AI to do this. They actually use humans who specialize in creating objective summaries of the content. You're not getting their analysis. You're just getting objective summaries of the content in a easily consumable fashion. So let's say you're interested in Bankless. You're not going to listen to those very long Bankless podcasts. Instead, you want to consume it in 15 minutes or even listen to it in short form. You can do that. So it gives you background, Brian Armstrong's reflections, lessons learned, advice, thoughts, all of this stuff that would have been very, very long to consume, maybe over an hour or 2 hours. Some of these podcasts go on for quite a while. Now you can get it all in a 15-minute read. Or if you still want to listen, but you want to listen to a compressed version, you can do that up here on the top. Now, me personally, I'm not a huge podcast guy. I am more of an in the trenches guy. I just want to know about protocols because I get most of the macro stuff, or maybe I don't really care about it. I'm a yield finder. I want to learn about protocols. I don't really care about what's going on at the very, very top of the echelons in crypto. So I'm going to go to my feed, which I've curated by going over to tags, all tags, and then finding and clicking on the sort of things that I was interested in. Now you can select up to 10 of these, and you probably want to change these every now and again to sort of like fit what you're thinking of at that particular day. So maybe, right now I'm not interested in Thena, but I am interested in, say, like Revest, which I do think is a pretty interesting protocol. And I want to stay on top of their updates or, shows. Maybe there's a particular show that I want to follow. Anyways, once I've selected the tags that I'm interested in, you can go to, and you also click unfollow all if you want to sort of reset. Then you go to explore, notes, and then what's hot. Now, my feed. Click on my feed. This is going to show you things related to the tags you selected. So this really interesting Cronos AMA with Liquid Driver. Why is it really interesting? Well, because it was an AMA on their Discord. So most people probably missed it, and it might not have been recorded. So now, instead of listening to an hour-long or hour and a half-long AMA, you have an 11-minute read about that, which may have some pretty interesting pieces of information. If you're not familiar with Cronos, this is going to get you up to speed on what Cronos is, what it's doing, what their model is, and the whole goal of Revelo is to be better than a protocol's own content. So this should be beating like the Medium articles being posted and like their own tweets and things like that. And so you even have the questions at the very end and the summarized answers as well. So cool here. So you can listen to the original AMA. They have the important links at the bottom. Very, very useful. So going back again to my feed, we're gonna look at this a little bit more really quickly. They have Plutus and Lodestar. Now, why might this interest me? Well, I know Lodestar was exploited because, I'm in crypto, I'm a crypto native or DeFi native. And I remember that being quite a pain for Lodestar and Plutus. So this AMA, 3-minute read, instead of listening to an AMA, instead of having to go and research Lodestar all over again, I can look and see if Lodestar is making a comeback, if there's any potential, alpha there, or maybe what's going on. So do they talk about, yep, they even talk about PLV GLP, which was the sort of like the vector of exploit initially, and what sort of happened to it. So I would much rather read this than listen to it because as probably most of you, I do have limited time and I can't always be listening to hour-long podcasts, but I do have time for a 4-minute, 3-minute read. All right, cool. So that's sort of how you can use my feed. You can always click on latest to see like what has been recently updated or uploaded. And then they have things on Lido, Ledger, and introducing Ledger Recover. Now Ledger Recover, clearly a topic of dispute. And so you might want to read this to get up to speed with what's going on over at Ledger with Ledger Recover, instead of trying to figure that out from people who may have very uninformed but biased opinions on Twitter. All right, now let's go to timelines. Timelines is a very neat feature that effectively allows you to look at the life of a protocol. So Curve is going to clearly have a very long life cycle. And what you'll see here is, like, since its inception, most of the major things that have happened on Curve. This will get you up to speed with nearly anything. This is like effectively if you're trying to do some fundamental analysis on a protocol and you want to really get a good idea of how the protocol got to where they are today, timelines is the way to do that. Like major governance proposals, major implementations, major exploits, even things that have happened. Now, how else might you use this? Well, really what this is this takes the major information from like the Discord announcements of each of these protocols and, takes the ones that are meaningful, sort of leaves the ones that don't really mean anything, and then makes them bite-sized here. So it's a good way to follow protocols, good way to sort of keep up to date with protocols, but really more, it's a good way to understand the history of a protocol. And they even have newer ones like Solid Snake, Kronos Finance, and I mean, GMX is no longer new at this point, but like if you look at Kronos again, you may also want to look at some of the forks. You can sort of see all the things that have happened, including the initial launch, how the tokenomics worked, and then of course now all of the partnerships and their timeline. What's most interesting, arguably, are the breakdowns. What are the breakdowns? Well, the breakdowns are the opposite of everything else. Where everything else is sort of like this bite-sized, short-form content, the breakdowns are incredibly long-form content, more in-depth than you would find anywhere else. Like, this is going to be better, should be, at least it claimed to be better than the white papers of the actual protocol. So let's go back over to Curve, because Curve is, a protocol that everyone knows. So clicking on Bitcoin might be interesting too. And immediately you see this is going to be nothing to mess with, right? Now, maybe you're interested in the Curve Wars because you don't really understand them. Maybe you missed a little bit of the video explainers and you want to read some in-depth, well-written piece on what the Curve Wars are. Well, you can click on that, and now you're going to read about the Curve Wars, get some very interesting information on it, and even some visuals that may be better than you would find in a Medium article or in a video, and you're going to get some great context here. So this is a very, very in-depth and robust piece of writing that's going to give you about as much information as you could ever hope for regarding the protocols that you're looking at. And there's a few of these. Like, it's not just Curve, not just major protocols. You have breakdowns on Bitcoin, Convex, GMX, Raft, etc., Balancer, Conto, the blockchain, Beethoven, which is a fantastic Balancer fork, Compound, Gearbox, which is also incredibly interesting. So like these protocols, if you are interested in fundamental analysis or understanding these at a very intimate level, then this is the place to do that, right? And what I love about these particular things is that when I'm doing my research, I can quickly go to what I'm looking for using the table of contents, because I can also use Control F. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm kind of lazy. So if I'm looking for something in particular about the tokenomics, maybe I'll type that in here. But also audits, if you're looking for more information on the audits here, you can sort of see and how big the audits were. Like, was it full coverage? Was it partial? So you can see that the Sigma Prime was almost full V2 coverage, but it wasn't. Here we have V1 coverage, first iteration coverage, initial version coverage. We don't have full coverage until we get to maybe Sigma Prime, but mostly consensus. Now, consensus, diligence, great auditor. This one should hold some weight, and it was full coverage, and you have a report here. So that's pretty cool. And look, it even tells you about the bounties. So you get a really, really good sense of a protocol utilizing these breakdowns. This is not like a bare bones overview. This is, in fact, a fully fleshed out, well-documented, arguably better than the white paper, arguably better than the mediums, breakdown of these protocols. So, and they even have some of the newer ones, like I said. This is probably the most robust piece of research that they offer. But another thing that they're doing, I'll sort of give you guys a little bit of alpha, is they're feeding all of these breakdowns and all of their notes into an AI that they've leased, right? And so the idea is that there may be a future in which you can just query an AI and it will tell you anything you want to know, being pulled from the data available in all of these massive human-written breakdowns. So you might, ask it to like compare GMX to Curve in some meaningful way, and it could do that pulling from all the data available. Or like, how does Balancer differ from Beethoven? Or fundamentally, because Beethoven is a Balancer fork, what are the differences that make a difference there? And it should be able to tell you, given all of the information it's pulled from those breakdowns. Now, finally, they have this new feature called Insights. Revelo started off as this product that was meant to summarize long-form content or give you an incredibly detailed piece of long-form content for specific protocols if you really want to do that deep dive. Now, Insights was recently added as a way in which you could get some analysis from the researchers at Revelo. So this very recent, I think, started around beginning of May. You can see the first one was Radiant Capital, DeFi's Hotel California. If you understand Radiant, you get that joke. And then Avo, which was recently released 2 days ago, an alternative for decentralized option. Now, if you don't know about Avo, it's Riven sort of like order book decks for options, and I was actually pretty interested in this, and now I could learn more by clicking on this analyst insight. And not only am I going to get a little bit of background on Avo, I'm additionally going to get some of the analysts' analysis on Avo and its value proposition. So again, not only now are you getting like objective short form bullet point content, you're now getting like an expert opinion on some potential plays or trades within DeFi at a relatively high level. So that's how I use Revelo Intel. Like, there are other things you can do. If you want, you can explore by chain, by project. Now, for like when ZK Sync came out, yes, I'm going to go click on chains. I'm going to go look for ZK Sync because I want to know like everything that's going on with it and see if there's anything particular to airdrops or DApps that are coming out, places I can go yield farm. But if you want like cutting edge yield opportunities, the DeFi Dojo is the best for that. This is much more for researching what exists, the current infrastructure of DeFi, and getting like a short form version of long form content. I think that's sort of where Revelo shines. Yes, there's news where you can sort of look at things that are happening and like what the latest breakdowns are if you want to sort of keep up to speed. And I believe this is probably going to be more useful in the future when more and more of these breakdowns are available. But right now, I mostly use notes and I mostly use breakdowns. Insights, there's only 2 of them so far. So yes, I've read them. Am I going to say that it's the best feature yet? I don't know. I want to see more of them before I can say with certainty. So that's Revelo in a nutshell. Hopefully this helps you make an informed decision upon whether or not you want to use this tool in DeFi. But if you do, please do consider using the referral link down below. Not only does it help my company, it helps you because you will get a 10% discount on your purchase, especially if you're purchasing like a yearly subscription or a lifetime subscription, because then you'll get a 10% off that whole purchase rather than just a 10% off on your first month, which is what you get if you only subscribe monthly. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day. Oops, clicked the wrong button.